Okay, we talk about this Dyna wobble. Long before there was a Dyna wobble, there was a Sportster wobble. It has more to do with frame geometry and suspension than anything else. Most of it's riding position, from what I've seen anyway. You got guys that got the biggest ape hangers they can fit on a bike. You know, so think of it like this. If you're riding a bike and you're riding 90 miles an hour and your arms are up like this, so you're way up there. So your feet are usually on forward controls, and your hands are up here, and the faster you go, the more you're pulling back. So by doing this, you're actually lifting the front end up, making the front end light, so you get a little tweak out of there. Bike like this with tracker bars on there, this one does it too. Just not as bad. So typically what you do is it starts to wobble a little bit. If you find out, you just lean forward slightly. You know, put some weight on the front end. Get down out of the wind a little bit. You know, if you're racing one of these bikes, you're not going to be standing straight up sitting straight up like that. It's like holding the damn sheet of plywood in front of the front end here. You're a big sail. So get down just as far as you can, comfortably. Put some weight on the front end. Scoot up a little bit on the tank. Put some front end weight on the front end. You'll find that it's not as bad. The lower the bars are, the better it is as far as wanting to wobble. You know, you just don't, you know, I mean, if you're sitting like this and the wind's catching, you're bringing the front end up, and I'm going to rant on this too. This is back to maintenance. Sorry you just saw me spitting there. I got a mouthful of chew. But, you know, if you're doing maintenance on these things, do the full maintenance. You only got 7-8 ounces of fork oil in the front end, and it does wear out. And it makes a difference in handling. Whether you think it does or not, it does make a difference. That being said, Harley only uses a 10 weight oil in the front. I think that's what E is rated at, is a 10. Almost every single one of these bikes does better with a 20 weight fork oil in it. You don't get the dive in the front end. It helps out with the rebounding. It stiffens up the rebounding compression dampening quite a bit. Just makes for a better ride. So next time you're doing fork oil change, which should be about every 10,000 miles, by the way, think about slapping some 20 weight in there. It's not like it's hard to change it. You know, jack the front end up, pull the drain screws out of the bottom, pull the caps off, and put the drain screws back in, and fill it back up. 7 to 8 ounces, whatever it calls for, 7.9 ounces of oil. That being said, I usually do add slightly more oil to it to take up the air gap that's in there. So if it calls for 7.5 ounces, I might put 8.5. And you get a little suspension tuning there, which helps. On the Dynas, you know, the narrow glide front ends have always had a little wobble to them. Earlier ones were actually worse with the 35mm fork tubes. Those things were really spindly, and the dampening was really weak on them. 39s, which these are, not as bad. Quite a bit better, actually. Now, if you find that you're still getting a wobble, get a steering dampener and put on there. They're easy to install. They're fairly cheap. Doesn't have to be the most expensive one. Just get one that's adjustable. You know, it doesn't have to be an Olin's or a Hyper Pro. There's enough cheap ones out there. Usually the mount is, the kit itself is more expensive than the steering damper is. But they do work. As far as Dynas go, the Dyna wobble, yeah, you know, if you keep up on your motor mounts and keep your engine tight, stabilizer bars adjusted correctly, Notice I said correctly, not just adjusted. There is a way to adjust them. And I don't have a Dyna here or an FXR or a bagger, so I'd show you how to do it. But it's pretty straightforward out of the book there. That's about it for the Dyna wobble or Sportster wobble or any kind of wobble. You know, basically put some weight on the front end. Doesn't help if you slam the ass into these bikes and jack the front end up with apes on there. You're just, it ain't good, man. So anyway, that's enough about that. You know, if you like my content, please like, share, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. This is just something to think about when you're putting bars on your bike, what kind of riding you're doing. Yeah, it looks cool to have apes on there, but they're not really meant for high-speed stuff. And yeah, you can go high speed. I've done it, and a lot of other guys have too. But you know what? If you're more comfortable with that, fine. Just realize that you might get a wobble out of the front end, and you should probably, if you start getting wobbles on a regular basis, you know, you need to check your steering head bearings, check your forks, tire pressure, tire, whether you got cupping on the front end, the front tire, how low you've got the bike down in the ass end. Your frame geometry is all messed up. You start lowering this and raising that and changing everything around. So anyway, that really is it this time. You guys have a great day, and thanks for listening.